Today we're going to talk about exposure, how to get the best settings in camera when shooting videos. Aperture, shutter speed, ISO and even frame rate are on the menu today. First on our list is the shutter speed. The shutter speed is a little bit like a door for your camera. If you decide to open this door for a long time, like let's say 2 seconds, you will have a lot of lights coming in. If the door is open for a short amount of time, then your image might be darker. But the shutter speed is not just about the amount of light coming in, it also captures motion. Meaning that a long shutter speed will capture a lot of motion. So if someone is moving in front of your camera when taking the pictures, or if the camera itself is moving, you will end up with a blurry image. Now for the case of a short shutter speed, like 1/200 of a second or maybe 1/1000 of a second, yes, it's going to be very dark. You will have to compensate for that at some point, but the motion that you're capturing will be very crisp, which is perfect when shooting sports or action, for instance. So remember, the longer your shutter speed, the more light you're going to capture, but also the more motion. The shorter your shutter speed, the darker your image, but the motion will be crisp. Now let's talk a little bit about the frame rate, because the shutter speed and frame rate are actually working together when shooting videos. A frame rate is basically the number of frame, pictures, image that you need to create 1 second of a video. As you can see on this example, the more image per second, the more the motion looks real. Once you reach 24 frames per second, you actually reach the real life situation, what your eyes is seeing. This is why 24 frames per second is the norm for filmmaking. So shutter speed and frame rate, how does these two work together when shooting videos? This is what we call the 180-degree rule, which basically stands for your shutter speed should be set at double your frame rate. If your frame rate is 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be at 1/40th of a second. Now, most of the camera will not give you the opportunity to choose this option, so the closest is actually 1/50th of a second. These settings will give you the best motion, the closest to the reality, and this is why I invite you guys to really follow these rules before being able to break it, because you need to understand it before doing something else. If you want to add some slow motion to your video, you will need to shoot at 60 frame rates per second or even 120 frame rates per second, but you will have to adjust your shutter speed accordingly. 60 FPS means a shutter speed of 120. If you're shooting at 120, you might want to boost your shutter speed at 240. But it might become too dark at that point. Some people are still shooting at 120 frames per second with a shutter speed at 120 also. It still works because in post you will slow it down very much anyway, and the motion won't really be an issue for that. Okay, I think it's enough for the shutter and the frame rate. It's already a lot of information, so if anything is not clear, don't be shy and watch it again or ask me a question in the comment section. The aperture is not about your camera, it's about your lens. If I use the same analogy as earlier with the shutter speed, the aperture works also like a door, but instead of choosing how fast or how slowly you're actually opening it, this time you decide how wide or how narrow you want to open it. The wider the opening, the more light coming in, the narrower, the darker your image. On this lens, I can go from an aperture of 1.8 to 22. 1.8 being wide open with a lot of lights coming in, and 22 is being very close, which will result with a darker image. But like the shutter speed, the aperture is not just about the amount of light coming in. It also have an impact on your focal point. A low aperture like 1.8 will have something on focus, and then the background or the foreground will be quite blurry. A higher aperture will have almost everything in focus. So if you want to go for the cinematic look, you might want to shoot with a low aperture, 1.8, 2.8, even 4, but 4 starts becoming a little bit high already. But depending on what you're shooting, you will figure it out. Last part of this presentation is the ISO, which basically stands for the sensitivity of your sensor to the light. The lower your ISO, like 100 or even sometimes 50 for photography, will give you a darker image, or you can boost it to 6400, 8000, 10,000 or even higher The higher you go, the brighter your image will be. But like the aperture and the shutter speed, it's not just about the light. It has a trade-off. The higher your ISO, the more noise you're gonna add to your image, decreasing the quality of it. So when using your ISO, you might want to be careful and try to see with your camera what's the maximum ISO you can use and not have your image crumbling and ending up with a lot of noise in it. On entry-level camera, usually you can go as high as 2000 ISO and your image should still be okay. On other cameras, like let's say the Sony a7S, which is really good for low light, you can push your ISO to 6000, 8000, even 10,000 sometimes. You will start having some noise, but the quality, it's still okay, I would say. Now let's have a concrete example now, and I will follow the rules that I've been explaining earlier. I set my shutter at 150 because my frame rate is at 24. I put my aperture at 1.8 because this is the lowest I can get with my lens, and I want this blurry background and I want this bottle to be in focus. It gives me a little bit of this cinematic look. I set my ISO at 100 because this is the lowest and I want to avoid having noise. Now the question is, how can I be sure that my exposure is actually right? Can I trust my eyes? What happens if you have the sun behind you and it's shooting in your screen and you have a hard time to actually see the light and see the colors? Well, you have two settings in your camera to tell you if the exposure is actually right. The first one is the light meter and the second one, the histogram. The most useful, I would say, is the light meter. What you're trying to achieve is to get the light meter at 0. If you go on the left side at -1, it means that your image is a little bit too dark. If you go on +1, your image is a little bit too bright. If you're more than that, then you're definitely either overexposed, too bright, or underexposed, it's too dark. Now in this example, I've been extremely lucky because the light situation around me made it that my light meter is at 0 with all the settings that I set. But the question is, which one should you move first if ever your image is too dark? So let's see our options. My image is too dark and my ISO it was 100. I could actually push the ISO and the sensitivity of my sensor will give me a brighter image. That's an option, but I'm adding noise though. Regarding my aperture, I'm already at the lowest possible, 1.8. I won't be able to get more light coming in through that. And my shutter speed is at 150. I can't really go lower than that, even though I could shoot at 140 or even 130, but the motion will not look real. So in that case, the best way to get more light is actually to boost your ISO. Now what if your image is too bright and you need to make it a little bit darker? Which setting will you play with to achieve that? The ISO is at 100. It's already the darkest you can get with the sensitivity. Your aperture is at 1.8. There is a chance for you to boost your aperture more at like 2.8 or 4 or even higher. Depending on the situation, you will have to choose. But the trade-off is that your image will become a little bit more sharp and you will lose this focal point that is very narrow. Another solution could be playing with your shutter speed, but as I said earlier, we're following the 180-degree rule and playing with the 1/50th of a second is a little bit tricky. Although you could push it, so your image becomes darker. But the trade-off in that case is that your motion will not look as real as what you might want. So in that case, sometimes you might want to increase a little bit your aperture. You might want to increase slightly your shutter speed also. And right now, I'm not talking about ND filters, which basically are some kind of sunglasses for your lens. I'm just trying to focus on what can I do with my camera settings only. And this is it, guys, for this introduction to how to control your light and your exposure when shooting videos, only using the settings inside your camera. I did not talk about the ND filter or adding artificial light. I only focused on the basic rules that you need to understand before being able to break them. There are many ways to control your light. That's not the only way to do things, but at least those are the basics. If you want to see more of these videos, please hit the subscribe button. That will help me tremendously and I will be very happy to see you next time.